In this video, we are going to see a model which is predicting the prices of housing dataset or Boston housing dataset. I have done this project using linear regression, using machine learning. This project has been done by Jackie Srivastava, that is me, and I have learned the linear regression model on Skyfi Labs. So here is my project. To do the project, we need to import some necessary libraries or packages. So we have done in this. So we need NumPy, we need Pandas, we need Matplotlib, we need Matplotlib.animation for supporting animation part, Func animation. We use sklearns. Sklearn.dataset is used to load the Boston dataset, and we have also used sklearn.matrix to import mean squared error. Also, we need to train the data, test the data. So we have split the training testing data using the sklearn model selection, importing train test split. And for pre-processing or for normalization, we use sklearn.preprocessing library and imported min-max scalar. We imported HTML from ipython.display. The very first step in doing this project was data preprocessing. So I have loaded the data, and I have loaded the data as such. Boston equals to load Boston, and I have described the Boston and printed that. So you can see the Boston data set. So these are the attributes. So there are 13 attributes here. So each attribute has its certain information you can see over here. And now we can create a data frame using data frame object from pandas and name it as features. So we have created columns equals to Boston.feature names through Boston dataset only. So these are the features. So this is the feature dataset. Then we have another thing called as we can index any feature and we can see the values. So RM feature was for room availability. So these are the rooms feature. Okay, now we have target data frame. So this target is the prediction, which is the target data frame, which is the value of the prices of the houses. So PD.data frame in certain units. So this is how this is the meaning of this line. Next is we can see the maximum minimum value of the target column. Now we need to concatenate the feature and the target into a single data frame, and we have done through that concatenation using pandas. So we pd.concat features and target, and we have taken access equals to 1, but by default access value is 0. Axis 1 means we are concatenating on column wise. So now after running this, you can see the output. The target column has been concatenated with the features, these many features. Next is we are describing the data set. We are describing the data frame. Data frame. So data frame has been described using, and we have rounded the decimals up to 2 values, and these are the descriptions. Count means number of values, average, mean, standard deviation, minimum, 25 percentile, 50 percentile, and 75 percentile, and this is the maximum. So these are all the information that we can see. So this is generally required to see any outlier is there or not. Is there any uniformity in our data frame which we are working on? So as I can see, there all the data descriptions are in a range, so nothing to worry about. Now we have done the data visualization to visualize the data. So correlation between attributes and target. So we have to see the correlation, means the dependency between the data between the different features with the target. So one such technique already available in sklearn was Pearson. So we have uses that df.core Pearson, and then we have found the absolute correlation of attribute with the target for every attribute in the list column features. Now we have combined the correlation values and features together using JIT and passed it as a list. and now we want to sort that, and for sorting we have taken key as lambda using the key function. All right, now we are creating a list of correlation and labels, and we have zipped it. Okay, so now we need to plot correlation graph. So for that we already have matplotlib functions. So index equals to np.arrange len labels, plt.figure fixed size means how big the figure you want, what is the figure size you want to pass, you can. Now we are plotting the bar plot. Okay, we are passing index and correlation values which we got, and the width. So this is the width. X label is attributes, and this is the Y label. Okay, so once we press plt dot show, it will show the plot, and as you can see here is the output, and we see the highly correlated value is the feature lstat, and the low and the very poorly correlated value is chas, this one feature. After this we found the correlation of every attribute. We have come to know that lstat is the one on which we need to train the data set. So this is the value x has been uh, set with the data frame as lstat dot values, and similarly for the target values. Now we need to create an instance of the scalar object, so we have to normalize the data. We normalize the data with the help of min max scalar. So x scalar is we pass s scalar equals to min max scalar, and then there is big X and big Y, and this is generally the scalar or the transform data, and we have done receive because it does only fit transform allows only vertical data. So we have normalized the data, means all the features come under the same scale, and it becomes easy for us to train the data. Okay, uh, now we have to see that splitting the data. So this has been shown here. We have to split the data into training data set and the testing data set. So point 2 here indicates the splitting 20% of the data set into the testing data set. So we have used train test split to split our data set into the random values. Random means 80% it is sample is selected randomly, and the 20% sample is selected randomly. Now we have mean squared error. So for mean squared error we have three functions: error, update, and gradient descent. So let's look at each of one of them separately. So in the error we have m the slope, c as the intercept, and t as the uh, okay. Here we have error function, update function, and the gradient descent functions. So this is all the updated values of m and c. We have learning rate. Learning rate is the generally kept low. So we are running iterations, means gradient descent is the approach we have followed in here. So if the error which we get is less than the error threshold, we print error is less than the threshold, and we stop the gradient descent there after, and we get the MC values. We obtain the newly updated M and C after each iterations, and we return M value C, error values, MC values. Now how we are using gradient descent. So we are initializing M, the slope as this value, C as 0, learning rate is kept as 0.001, and iterations we normally keep we can keep anything, but for this we have kept it as 250. And if the error threshold is less than this, we come out of the loop, we break from that. So this is how we are calling the gradient descent function. Okay, so after this we have used percent time. So this says how much time has been incurred in doing this gradient descent, means how much time has been taken already. So we now plot the regression curve. So this regression curve tells us that how the newly weights fits the line, and this regression line is fitting our data set, training data set. Now once we see the efficiency of the training data set, we will also see the effectiveness of the testing data set, then only our model will be effective. So here we are plotting the error. So error error will be plotted here like this. So it has not been displayed. We have to use percent inline matplotlib notebook. Then we can see the error. So I have seen the error and it was very less. So next, visualization of model. So in this, we have visualized the model. Visualization generally means how the model, how the data set it depicts the data set in graphs. So this was the new M and C values. So we generally are doing animation part here, but for now, the animation library has not been, is not there, was not there in my Jupyter. So this error has been thrown. But in the tutorial, I have seen that they can do that. Means this animation, this line was animated, and it gradually comes and fits this line. So this was the main objective of this code. Next is we get the predicted value. So we are writing the m equals to x into test m into x test plus c, and this is the predicted value and predicted, and then we are finding the mean squared error, and this we say it is 0.001 approx. Yeah, 0.01. So this is our after passing y test and predicted, and this is the prediction p. So pd dot data frame, we are passing a list and shipping the x test, y test, predicted, and these are the columns that we want here in our prediction. Okay, output. So this is, you can see this, the target and the predicted, they are coming very close, very close. Now we have plotted a graph using scatter, plt dot scatter and plt dot plot, and see how these are distributed here. Now in these lines, we are concluding how what we have got through this linear regression, and we are predicting, and we are finding that the prediction was this, and y test is coming this, and predicting is means y test and prediction are very, 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 very close. So our model was hence running good, means giving good results. So this is we are reshaping and then reverting the normalization effect using inverse transform, and we also need to get rid of extra dimensions through slicing, and after that we are passing the p as pd dot data frame, and then we are x test scaled, y test scaled, and predicted scaled, which you can see in these 3 lines. Okay, so these are inversing the transformation effect. So and then we are passing p as a data frame object and listing this in the x test, y test scale and predicted scale, and then the column name was x test, y test and predicted. So this is after printing the p dot head we get. These are the top 5 values, I mean the starting 5 values. So we see here the linear regression model which I developed is running smoothly. That's all. Thank you.